Hey guys, hope all is well. It's Mother's Day here. I hope everyone's doing very well. I'm not too sure if I'll get this uploaded today or not, but me and the little man are hanging out a little bit this morning while Mom gets ready. Right? Yep. So I hope everyone's having a great day. This is the second part of Sean from Peach Bottom Auto Body's truck. We did the interior detail before. If you haven't seen that already, make sure to check that out. But this is the second part of the exterior detail. Also, we finally have a little bit of merch. If you're interested, feel free to check it out. I put a link in the description below. No one has ordered anything yet. This is the first time I'm even sharing it. I was trying to find a good quality shirt, and I think these are pretty good quality. They are print to order, so I actually do not ship them out. They're actually printed and then shipped directly to you. But I ordered a bunch of samples, and they look really, really nice. So hopefully you guys like them. It's nothing fancy for now, but at least it's something. If any of you want to rock our merch, I definitely appreciate the support. But I think we're going to get going. We got some family activities, right? Yep. So guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and we'll catch you later. Now that we got the inside all done, guys, we're going to start with the outside here. We're using Meguiar's Shampoo Plus. It works pretty good. You can use any car soap that you want. Also, I'm going to be using it in the foam cannon. Then I'll use a microfiber wash mitt and using the 2-bucket wash method. If you're not familiar with that, just look it up here on YouTube. There's probably a million videos. This truck is going to go through our paint correction process, so it's not super important to use 2 buckets. Next we have the engine bay. I'd like to do all the prep first. This engine bay was actually not dirty at all. It just had a little bit of light dust. So we'll just pre-rinse it, and then I'm cleaning it here with the Detail King citrus cleaner and just my wheel brush. Typically I use this on lug nuts and stuff. Basically just spray it on, agitate it, and then rinse it off. Generally I'll do the wheels, tires, wheel wells, all that stuff next in the frame, but this frame was actually really nice. The wheel wells are perfectly clean, so I skip right to the pre-rinse foam. I'm just using the Meguiar's Shampoo Plus as a pre-rinse foam just to try to lift some of that heavy dirt, and there really wasn't any heavy dirt. This was kind of just for video, but we would do it either way no matter what, and then just rinse it, power wash off the soap without touching the paint, just to get off all them heavy debris. Now, as you can see here, the paint does bead up pretty well. I'm sure Sean put some kind of paint protection on this thing, or else it's just really nice, clean, clear coat. And then I'll pressure wash off the wheels, pressure wash off the tires, hit the wheel wells lightly. In some of our previous videos and even future videos, you will see dirtier trucks where we actually use the all-purpose cleaner, scrub the tires, scrub the wheel wells, clean everything underneath. But this one, Sean gave us a pretty clean truck. It just has some light scratches that we need to fix. So it's a basic cleaning, and then we'll clay bar because it does have some overspray on it. I'm guessing from sitting at the body shop for a little while. Now that the pre-rinse is all done, Todd's going to go ahead and wash the truck with the Shampoo Plus. Starting with the top, we'll do all the top parts, even the top of the hood, the top of the cab, and then we'll work our way from top to bottom and then front to back. We'll do the back, the tailgate, the very bottoms, the rockers, all that kind of stuff last. Wherever you have heavy dirt, it's always best to do that at the very, very last. And if you have really, really dirty rockers, cab corners, rear bumpers and stuff, you can also get like a separate microfiber towel and wash it with that. That way you don't ruin your microfiber towel. Next here we're using, it's got some tar on it surprisingly, we're using the Stoner Terminator. This stuff works really, really awesome. It is solvent based, but I've never had any issues with it hurting any kind of base clear type paint. I don't know if I would use it on a single stage paint. I don't know if it would mess it up. But typically we'll spray it on the panel, let it sit for 5 minutes or so, and then spray a towel lightly with the Terminator, and then just go real lightly. You don't have to get too aggressive. This thing is going to get buffed out, so it's not a big deal if you get a couple little micro scratches here and there. And then after you use the Terminator, rinse it off and then wash it with your soap and water mixture, because it does leave a little bit of residue behind, and it doesn't just rinse right off. You actually have to wash it with soap and water and then rinse it off again. That's just a word of advice. Also, don't do it in the wind, because that stuff carries everywhere. Once you have the whole truck clean and washed, the vehicle's still wet. We didn't dry anything off yet. Typically this is where you would use the iron remover if needed. This truck didn't need it, so we're just going to do a light clay using the Clay Magic. I believe it's the fine clay, it's not the real aggressive stuff. It could still possibly lightly micromar the paint. We're using Optimum No Rinse as a clay lubricant instead of like an actual clay lube. You could also just use your car soap to save money, works just as good. And if you're gonna buff it anyway, it's not a huge deal if you get a couple little light micro marring. It's pretty common, especially if you're doing it to like a black truck. Now that I have all the clay lube rinsed off and the truck's clean, I'm going to go ahead and start the drying process with the air compressor. We do have really good water at the shop, but I still like to blow off the wheels first, especially if they're raw aluminum. That way it reduces the chance of getting any kind of water spots. As you can see here, yes, I am using a chamois, no drying aids. Typically if it's a nice truck and I don't want to have a chance of scratching it, I will use microfiber towels and a drying aid, or I'll dab the paint like I was doing. But I would stay away from chamois on nice, especially black trucks, and don't wipe it like I'm wiping here. Typically you want to use like a leaf blower, maybe a couple of microfiber towels, and some kind of spray lubricant like P&S Speedmaker, even Optimum No Rinse, or some kind of quick detailer to reduce the chance of scratching, because typically if you scratch your truck, it's in the drying process. But she's going to get buffed, so no big deal in this case. Now that I have the whole exterior all dry, the door jambs are still wet and kind of dusty. These aren't really dirty, but what I'm using here is just a couple of the Kirkland microfiber towels, and then the P&S Speedmaker works awesome on door jambs. We use it on all our door jambs. It's nice because it adds some kind of paint protection behind, making it easier to clean the next time you wash your truck. But I like it because it's nice and streak free, and they're super smooth after you're done. And especially on like black trucks, if you wipe your door jambs and it leaves a bunch of streaks behind, the P&S Speedmaker really prevents that, especially on dark colored jambs. Next, Todd's here taping off any kind of black plastics, weather stripping, anything for the paint correction process and buffing process that you don't want to get any kind of compound on. Yes, you still want to be careful not to hit them areas, but it definitely saves time in the long run to tape all that stuff out. As you can see here, it's just your love marks, your typical washing and drying, really light scratches, nothing crazy aggressive. It's just, it'll take like a simple 1 or 2 step to get this kind of stuff out. A couple little swirls in the grill, a couple little bug guts that we gotta buff out that just don't wash off. We're using the Menzerna 2500 compound with the Rupes. I believe this was the 15 or the 21 millimeter. We go back and forth and kind of use both on the vehicle. But the Menzerna 2500 works really good as a one-step. Sometimes you'll have to go back through and hit it a second time, depending how deep the scratch is. That, or just whip out the rotary and knock it out with that on your first step. Then for the pads, Todd here is using the Lake Country, I believe the 5.5 inch HDO blue cutting pads. They work really good. We always have a lot of these in stock. I'll either go with these or the Buff and Shine yellow. I think they're called like Eurotech pads. They work really well as well. I used to use the Rupes pads. It just they got kind of expensive and they didn't last quite as long as some of these other pads. It's just kind of user specific. Whatever works for you, go that route. But it's always good to have plenty of options on hand. After it's all compounded, as you can see here, Todd's wiping everything down with the IGL Precoat. It's pretty important to use some kind of Precoat to clean any kind of compounding or polishing residue off. You don't want any kind of oils left behind before you put a coating on. After we got the truck all wiped down, I was looking at the wheels. I was like, you know what, Todd, we should probably pull these wheels off. As you can see here, I lay a towel down just in case a lug nut drops onto the wheel to reduce the chance of any kind of indenting of the wheel. Them lug nuts are pretty hard and the wheels are pretty soft, so if you drop one of them onto them nice wheels, a good chance is it's probably going to indent and mess up the customer's wheels. For cleaning these wheels, I'm just using soap and water basically. Don't recommend any kind of heavy degreasers or all-purpose cleaners to scrub tires that are mounted on raw aluminum wheels, because you do run the chance of getting streaks on them. Unless you're going to polish them anyway, then it's really not a big deal if you mess up the wheels a little bit with some all-purpose cleaner, since you're going to polish them anyway. But I don't plan on getting too aggressive with these wheels, just a basic light cleaning. Customers only had them on the truck about a year, so they're not too bad. The main reason I pulled off these wheels is to clean the backside. The fronts weren't too bad. They got a couple little stain marks from even when the customer dropped it off. They were already there. But the biggest thing was the backsides. They've been on the truck for about a year, and you just get a lot of little dirt on the back. And these things are kind of a bear to clean on the truck unless you get down on the creeper or on the ground and crawl around and try to access the back. But it's better just to take it off the truck. And then once they're all cleaned, I'll dry them off with the air compressor right away to make sure I don't get any kind of water spots. And then we'll hit them with the Zephyr Pro 40. I think that's how you say it. Just using a little buffer, nothing crazy, just to give it a little bit more luster for when the customer picks up. Now that we got it all prepped, we're going to apply the IGL Kenzo. Then we've used brand new microfiber towels, and then I really like these auto fiber suede microfibers. They work really, really good. If you do apply ceramic coatings or even waxes and stuff, the suede microfibers from auto fiber work awesome. So here I'm just preloading my microfiber applicator and applying that base coat layer of the Kenzo base coat. Typically I'll do like the whole hood and then both front fenders, and then maybe I'll throw in the lights or something. But typically you let this first base coat layer sit. Temperature depending for around 8-10 minutes or so, give or take depending on the humidity and stuff. But I have the dehumidifier going in this shop, so that really saves a lot of headache and hassle, especially in the warmer seasons like we're getting into right now. Then I just try to get around all the little areas, and as you can see here, you can kind of see where I applied it and where I haven't applied it yet. This product is super easy to see. And then as it dries, it's even easier to see. But typically, yeah, 8 to 10 minutes, which gives you plenty of time. With some of the other coatings that I used in the past, you have to wipe them off like right away, especially in the summertime. But with this product, you can let it sit for a lot longer. And then I'm just going through with my first towel. I'll typically use 2 to 3 towels. The first towel is just kind of to level off the excess product. Try to get anything that isn't going to even stay on the paint. And then you can see the line right there where I wiped and where I didn't wipe. It's kind of looks like one big high spot, if you want to call it that. And then I'll just lightly wipe. I'm not really pressing very hard, just trying to keep the towel onto the paint. And this is pretty much how I apply that first coat layer. Typically a truck like this, depends on the size, but it could take 2 to 3 hours depending on the truck to apply this first base coat layer. Then after I wipe it with the first towel, I'll grab the second towel and I'll go back through and wipe everything down again with the second towel, just making sure that there's no high spots or no excess left over. Wiping all the edges. Sometimes you might touch the bumper down there. You want to make sure that you wipe even opposing panels. And then I'll double check everything with a light, direct light. Typically on like something like this color or dark trucks, I'll diffuse the light and point them towards the white walls and bounce the light off the wall. That way you can see, as you can see here, you can see high spots. I just left some product there, that way you can see kind of what a high spot looks like. That's what you're looking for. You don't want anything left like that behind. And then for the IGL top coat, it's basically applied the same way the base coat is. You just have to wait a little bit in between layers. Then I'm applying glass transparency to the windshield and IGL glass to the sides. Coated all the plastics. Everything's done. Wheels are back on. Let's go check this truck out, guys.
Walking home late at night, maybe 2:30. A little drunk, but I'm alright, 'cause I've been hanging with you, and it feels like love. Tell me if I'm wrong, 'cause it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this true. Baby, you just make me feel crazy. A little crazy for you. Yeah. I think about you and I want you here with me. Am I out of my mind, or is this how it should be? You made me sing about love, So just tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like love.